Yo. Welcome in to the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Today is MLK Day, man. Happy MLK Day. Shout out to Martin Luther King Jr., to his family, to all the people who was working with him. I do think the day deserves to be celebrated for sure. But we're here to talk about sports bets. We're here to talk about NBA picks for today. Hopefully you guys had a chance to, if you're tuning in now, hopefully you got a chance to tune in last night, because the reason for the night show was I said some of these lines were going to move. I gave out one play on the show. That line has moved just a little bit. Still pretty much available in most books. And then the plays I sent out after the show, probably about 1:30, 2 o'clock this morning, have all moved. So we'll talk about a few more looks. I did go through 5 games, I think it was. It was 3 more games. So we'll jump into those 3 games and see if we can find some action on the board for today. Let's jump into it. Recap of yesterday. I stayed off. I had a 0 for 0 for day in the NBA yesterday. Didn't make any plays. Just kind of wanted to see how things would fall. And one play in the NFL, another winner, Mr. Jalen Hurts, under on his pass attempts, was a winner. If you joined the show yesterday, until only official play I gave out yesterday, Jalen Hurts under on his pass attempts. Let's go through a couple comments real quick and see if we can find some more ways to get paid. Let's see. Aaron says, if it's only getting harder to get ahead of these lines because of DMPs, why does it seem like everyone is starting to do late night shows? So in my personal opinion, Aaron, I haven't talked to anybody else about this, but in my personal opinion, I would say that the late shows come because we have more information. It's really difficult to do early shows at the beginning of the season because you don't have enough data. Now we're starting to get data, right? The NBA season is halfway over. Both teams have played 41 of the 82 games. So now you have data. Now you can kind of, see which teams are consistent and which role, that type of thing. So that's my personal opinion, is because we have a little bit more data. So it makes it a little bit easier, in my opinion, to be able to handicap these games. And if you think that the players are going to play, it makes more sense to try to get ahead of the lines as well. That's my thought process. Yeah, we did 2, Blaze. We did 2. Did one last night, doing one this morning. What's up, Brim? What up, Daniel? Good morning, Tasha. DJ, we'll talk about this. What up, Prestigious Prodigy? GLB is back with us. He was with us last night. He's back again. Tasha says she's on over Detroit, Houston. Like it, Tasha. We're gonna talk about that. Good morning, Jalen. Appreciate you for tapping in. Let's see. These games do start in about an hour and a half, just FYI as well, just so you guys know. Well, an hour and 45 minutes. What up, Mark? Says good morning, Chris and crew. Money making Mondays. Shout out to Dr. King. Absolutely, shout out to Dr. King. My guy Justin right behind him. Good morning, Justin. What up, Brian? Appreciate you for tapping in. Since we're gonna work the rest of the card, let's get through it. Yeah, let's get through it, man. Good morning, Chai. Appreciate you for tapping in. What up, Derek? Says appreciate the show as always. Likes the board today. I like the board today too. I got 4 or 5 plays locked in already. We're gonna talk a little bit about them. Some of the lines have moved already. Curry is questionable, Tasha. He was supposed to play. That's what it says. He planned to play, and that was after the Wizards game on Friday. We'll see. Good morning, King. Appreciate you for tapping in. Redemption says, what's up, Chris? Redemption here from Twitter. Ready to make some money on MLK Day. I need it. Nayeli in here with us as always. Good morning, Nayeli. She says, good morning, guys. She's trying to get to some money as well. Jorge says, do you like getting the early lines the day before? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Love a little COV. Whether it cashes or not is something totally different. But yeah, if I think if the lines go move in a direction, absolutely, right? We talk about, I know you guys, you're not super new to sports betting. It's very much like trading, stocks, right? If you know that the stock is about to plummet, you want to get off of it. You want to sell it. If you know that the price is about to go up, you want to buy it, right? And it's no different in the NBA, in my opinion, at all. So real quick, let's go over to actually, I'll let y'all figure it out. Y'all tell me what prompt y'all want me to type in jaXon today before we go over to jaXon. Let me know what y'all want me to type in. What game, what player prop, what side of total. The first one I see is the one I'll type in. And I'll bring up jaXon so you guys can see how it works. So let me know what prompt. First prompt that I see, I'll type in on jaXon. Let's see what y'all got. Justin says I'll be making a CLB diss track to this beat. Calvin says Mavs. All right, so let's go over to jaXon. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how it works. So show you guys exactly how it works real quick. So I typically just read it to you guys, but let's go over to jaXon real quick. So this is jaXon, the AI sports betting tool that I always talk about. I'm looking at Notre Dame in the football game today, but that's just something I had typed in. So down here at the bottom, so Calvin says Mavs. All right, so let's just type in are the Mavericks, you could type in Mavs too. Are the Mavericks a good ATS bet today? Boom. So it says thinking. You guys can see clearly right here. It says thinking right here at the bottom. It thinks for about 20-25 seconds. Let's see. Cavs team total, CJ says. Yeah, Mark likes Mavs as well. King says Mavs, Hornets as well. I knew Derek Lively is on the injury report. He moves everything in my opinion. Well, this can't be true, man. He says, I sent your email to the Discord back. Should I try again? Yeah, try again, because I responded to every single email that I've gotten about Discord. I'm a guy that hates to have unread emails. So I got some unread emails, but they are all pretty new. So just shoot me another email. And I'll get it to you. But anyway, we got the report up now. So this is what I typically read right here, right? So are the Mavs a good bet, ATS bet? You see what I typed in here? Let's see if I can you guys should be able to read this. So it says I'm analyzing blah 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 blah. The Dallas Mavericks are not a strong ATS team against the spread bet today against the Charlotte Hornets, and here's why. So you got the key matchups to tell you where the game gonna be, tip-off time, Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, the spread, the over-under. You guys can see all that here. Then this is the little table that I'm always talking about. So it tells you what they are, in these spots. So the Mavs are 20-21 against the spread. Last 10, only 2-9 as a favorite. ATS 14-7 as an underdog, 9-12. Same thing for the Hornets, 12-17-2 against the number. 4-0-1 versus Dallas in the last 5. Okay. And as a favorite, 0-4, but as a dog, 19-13-2. So it says the Mavs have struggled against the spread recently, going 2-9 in their last 11 games. This includes poor performances, even as favorites. The Hornets, despite the I'm gonna just highlight it so you guys can see where I'm at. The Hornets, despite the poor offense overall record, have been 4-0-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. Last 5 matchups against the Mavericks, showing they can keep games close against Dallas. We got recent performance. The Mavs snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 106-98 win over the Thunder on Friday. Kyrie Irving led the team with 25 points. However, the Dallas Mavericks lost 7 of their last 10 games, and it's just 10-11 on the road this season. Without Luka, with the calf injury, the Mavs offense has struggled, averaging just 108.5 points per game over their last 12 contests. The Hornets, coming off a 125-123 win over the Bulls, making their second straight victory and third in their last 4 games. LaMelo Ball has been a standout player, averaging 29.5. So maybe if you like his points prop, that might be something to get to today. Though he has gone under 30 points in 3 straight games. The Charlotte Hornets has been competitive recently. Charlotte has been competitive recently despite their poor record, and has shown some resilience in close games. Sharp Money, according to Sharp Money, I don't really care about this. 100% of the Sharp Money are back in the Hornets ATS. This indicates strong confidence in Charlotte's ability to cover the spread. The Mavericks against the spread struggles, combined with the Hornets' recent form, make the Charlotte Hornets more appealing bet. So you got some injury stuff here. The Mavs will be without Jaden Hardy. I did see that. Luka is out. Dwight Powell, Dante Exum, and Lively is questionable. The Hornets will be without Brandon Miller, but their core players, including LaMelo Ball and Mark Williams, are healthy. Offensive and defensive. God, Lee, bro. jaXon give you way too much information. So the Mavericks rank 10th in points per game, but they've struggled without Luka, as of note. The Hornets rank 14th in points allowed and are top 10 in defense in defending the 3-point line, which could limit Dallas perimeter shooting. And then you got home and road splits. The Hornets are 6-13 at home, but the Mavs are just 10-11 on the road, making them a relatively even matchup in terms of venue disadvantage here. So final recommendations, the Mavs are not reliable against the spread today, are not a reliable bet against the spread today. Their recent struggles, injuries, and poor ATS record, especially on the road, make them a risky choice. However, meanwhile, the Hornets have been competitive and have a strong ATS record against the Dallas Mavericks. So pick jaXon likes Hornets plus 5.5. Reasoning: the Hornets' recent form combined with the Mavs' ATS struggles and injury concerns make Charlotte the better play on the spread. So there you guys go. I always talk about jaXon. Never really showed you guys what it looks like, but that is what jaXon looks like. jaXon looks just like that. You can see how quick that prompt was. So yeah, I always say if you guys are interested in checking it out, then there is a link in the description. You can type in player prop, size, totals. Like I said, you can look at everything with jaXon. I like to do my work and then check it with jaXon to see if jaXon correlates with what I'm thinking as well. So yeah, check out the link in the description of the video. All right, so Kyrie is supposed to play today, Tasha. I did see that. What else should I say before we get started? What up, Burns? Says, what's good, Chris? Man, those Lakers are terrible. I told you that yesterday, Burns. I'm not a told you guy, but you don't want to catch too many falling knives because it'll go through your hand. And if a knife goes through your hand, it'll hurt. It really hurts, man. Don't mess with the Lakers. Don't mess with the Lakers. Don't mess with the Bulls. Those are my recommendations. You can make a lot of money just not messing with the Lakers or not messing with the Bulls. Keep your money. Let's see. Brian says, Chris, I sent you an email via Google and said your address can't be found. I spelled it right in case it shouldn't be case sensitive. Email usually not. I don't know if you got X or not, Brian, but shoot me a DM on Twitter or X at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's, and I'll send it. I'll send you the link as well. GLB Best says over. Hornets game. What else? Charlotte 0-6 against the spread with 2 days of rest. You hate to see that. GLB Bet says, are the Hornets free? Nothing in life is free. Nothing in life is ever free. Flint cashed to Eric Gordon. I'm glad you cashed that. All right. jaXon is all sports. Yes, it is. Ellie says, OMG, I need Mr. jaXon. Yeah, it's a lot of reading. If you like to read, you can ask for it to be shorter. Like it can give you a short synopsis as well if you want. I just type in the simple prompts. Mark said that Laker Bulls advice is gold. Oh man. All right, let's jump into it, man. And I appreciate you for tapping in, Corey. He says, just got done watching the late night show. I love your Phoenix look. Let's eat on MLK Day. Let's jump into it. So we talked about this game last night, the Detroit and Houston game. My recommendation was Detroit plus the points, but it's not a game that I played. I don't feel super confident in it. But I do think Detroit can keep the game close. We talked about this one last night. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I will say Detroit plus the points in the under and the over was what I was looking at in this game. And I still think that holds true in my opinion here. So this total open 225. It got bet down to 222.5. And then at one point in the show yesterday, it was down to 221.5. And it's still a 221.5. I think that's what I like the most in this game is the over. You got a Rockets team that's really just shooting the leather off the basketball right now. And I don't trust Detroit defensively because last 5 games, I talked about this yesterday, last 5 games, Detroit's been really struggling first of all, they've been playing against some cupcakes. I think it's like their bottom 5 in strength of schedule. And we saw them get lit up against the Phoenix Suns, who don't even play a fast pace. So with the way the Rockets are shooting the basketball right now, I think this game goes up and over the total. I know, that the Rockets are a pretty good defense, but offensively, they really started to hit their stride. A lot of it has to do with Jalen Green. He's been killing it. His points prop was given out yesterday at last night at 22.5. I know Jacob liked it a lot. And when I went to look at it after the game, after the show, it had already moved to 23.5 on most books. If you didn't want to lay a lot of juice. So I also talked about Cade Cunningham under his 8.5 assists. So I think that those are ways that you can play this game. I don't feel super confident on it, if I'm being honest with you guys. I think there's other spots on the board, but over, I think is the best play. 221.5. You just need these teams to get to. I worry about Detroit being able to protect the basketball, but you need these teams to get to a relatively low number. Like Detroit's team total is 106.5. They clear that, right? I talked about this last night. The Pistons as a road dog this season are 10-6 to the over, and they've gone up and over their team total in 5 straight games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 5 games, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of their last 12 games, the Pistons have cleared their team total. I don't think the Rockets are going to be focused on defense. I think they're just going to come in here and be able to score against the Pistons as well. So I like over. This team total for the Pistons is 106.5. And it's juiced to the over at minus 118 on FanDuel. It's 107 on the other couple other books. But they scored 124 against the Knicks, 121 against the Nuggets, 114 against the Kings, 117 against the Lakers, 133 against the Suns. They do got a game in here. They kind of had a dud, but that was before Christmas. On December the 12th, they scored 99 points against the Celtics. I remember being on the over. I think they shot like 12% from the three-point line. But they also scored 120 against the Knicks, 120 against the Celtics before, 130 against the Pacers. So it's typically a spot. I think I'm going to add the over, man. I like 221.5 because I do think the Rockets going to be able to score as well. So over in this game, I think I'm going to add that. And I do think the Rockets going to be able to score as well. Their team total is 114.5, and they've been clearing that pretty easily. Top 5 offensive rated team. Both of these teams playing top 10 pace. So I like over here. A little bit more than anything else. A little bit more than trying to play the side in this one will be, 221.5 over on ESPN Bet is the best number that you can get right now. So I was contemplating on this one, looking a little bit deeper and thinking about it overnight. That over 221.5 is still there. I'll play over 221.5 on ESPN Bet. And I don't think it's going to move too much, so I'll wait to put this one in. It's 222 and 222.5 on everywhere else. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Corey says, oh, we read that already. Good morning, Erica. She says, take the early game overs. I think we see some offense as well, Erica. I do agree with that. Possibly you could put it in the members only section as a link. Absolutely, Brian. I could do that. Yeah. Let me make myself a note. Matter of fact, I'll just start your comment because I'm not going to remember to do that. But yeah, I can definitely do that. I got you, Brian. I do got you. Let's see. Eric likes the under. Jacob says, haven't bet the game. I think Derek Lively will rest today. Stay at home, stay at Dallas and play the Wolves game. So they do play the Wolves up next. I don't know if I mentioned that, but they do play the Wolves next. The Dallas Mavericks do. And the spot doesn't set up well for Charlotte. I didn't go through any of that when I was talking about that game, but it doesn't set up well for Charlotte. This is Charlotte's first game back home after a 3-game road trip. They have gone 2-1 since LaMelo came back. They're 3-0 to the over since LaMelo came back as well. And then on the Dallas, and then Charlotte got to go back on the road. I didn't really like the spot for Charlotte as much. But I think I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about that Dallas and Charlotte game. I think if Derek Lively doesn't play, I do like the over more than anything else. I had put in my notes. Well, we'll get to the game. We'll get to the game. I'll come back to that game. Appreciate the $10 dono from Aaron. He says, I learned a ton because of how in-depth you go on this show. Never change, Chris. I appreciate that, Aaron. Appreciate that for sure, man. I started this because I wanted to help people. And I'm always trying to learn too. I'm a student of life. Always trying to learn and get better. Thomas likes the 221 on ESPN Bet right now. I love it. I love it. Shai says, if a man is out, who guards Cade? They got some defenders. They got stick Dylan Brooks on them. Jayshawn Tate. Like they got some guys that could play defense. I actually like that Cam Whitmore's getting a lot more minutes. If you like the over, because he's a bucket. He ain't trying to play as much defense, but he gonna score. He absolutely gonna score. Good morning, Apollo. Dean says, I'd like to play green points up to 25.5, 90% hit rate without Jabari Smith Jr. We just talked about this in the last night's show. I like it. I like it a lot. Julio says, I'm from Houston. Detroit gives us issues. He likes Detroit. And what did I write in my notes? Detroit. Houston has won 6 straight in the head-to-head matchup. Detroit covered both games last season, though. Yeah, Detroit should be motivated in this spot. That's one of the reasons why I kind of lean towards them. They got back-to-back losses to the Pacers and the Suns. They typically play well in matinee starts as well. And Houston, just kind of riding the high right now. This team has been really, really good. Don't really want to fade them. They've won 6 of their last 7. I think the only loss they had came against the Sacramento Kings, and they won the second leg of a back-to-back without Fred VanVleet. So I don't really want to fade Houston right now, but I do think 8 is a tad bit too many points. Like I said yesterday, when you want Detroit, you want them catching multiple possessions like this. So that would be my recommendation, but I didn't play the spread. I think I like the total a little bit more. Let's see. Mark says, I agree, Chris. Not a strong Charlotte spot, only the over for me. When me and Mark align, I think we cash a little bit more than when we don't. So I like that a lot. Let's see. Appreciate this comment, Parlay J. I do respect J and J a lot, for sure. Take Rockets first half. Patrick says, couldn't talk you off. We talked about that last night. More like Swayze's top of the morning, Jalen. Pass attempts, no sweat. Yeah, we did cash that. He just got hooked with Jamal Murray points. Yeah, he started off very slow. I think he had like 4 at halftime, finished with 19. He was listed at 19 and a half. Nuggets dominated the Magic by, I think it was 15 points in the third quarter, ended up pulling away late in that game. Clippers came through too. Yeah, the Clippers were top spot on the board yesterday. Didn't send it out because the line I got started to move, but it was definitely the top spot on the board yesterday. Next game up, let's go over to Timberwolves and Grizzlies. I won't be on this one for long either because I sent it out. The number I sent out has moved already. It's up to 5.5 now. I see a 6 popping up as well. So people, I think at this point it's getting a tad bit too disrespectful. And maybe that's because Rudy Gobert isn't going to play. So I'm not going to go super in depth, but I'll tell you guys that Rudy Gobert is listed as questionable. Dante DiVincenzo is already listed as out. I think that really hurts Minnesota a lot. And it's not like Minnesota is not in a really good road spot here. Like, you want Minnesota catching points on the road. You don't want them as a favorite. I keep talking about this a lot. They're only 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. Most of those they've been actually laying points. When they've been a dog, not as much, but they have traveled a lot. Just back and forth. They were in New York on Friday, came home for the Cleveland game. Now they're back on the road in Memphis, and they've not played a game in the same gym probably about 15 games. It's one of the craziest stretches that I can remember in sports betting. And you got a Memphis team they're getting a lot healthier. I know Ja's listed as questionable. He didn't play in that win against the San Antonio Spurs in the last game, but I think Ja is going to play. If he doesn't play, I think Memphis, still got enough. If Rudy Gobert doesn't play, I talked about this last night, it could be a layup line for Memphis at the rim. Memphis is a team that loves to attack the paint. They love to get downhill. And I think Minnesota defense falls off a lot without Rudy Gobert in there. And I didn't even look into it, but it just makes a ton of sense. Nas Reed's not going to be able to protect the paint, in my opinion. So I took 3.5 last night. Real quick, if we just look at Minnesota defensively with Derek Lively, Minnesota with Derek Lively, what's the kid name? Rudy Gobert. So we look at Rudy Gobert with him on the floor. They're giving up 3 less points per 100 possessions. They're outscoring their opponents by about 2. With him off the floor, they're outscoring their opponents by about 1. This is a revenge spot for Memphis, but it's also a third game in 4 nights, and they at the rest disadvantage as well. So, yeah, I played Memphis. Also, MLK Day type stuff, right? Like I said, 6 is a tad bit too much in my opinion. I would only like 6 if Ja's going to be in. Edie is off the injury report. He did get hurt in the last game against San Antonio, but he's off the injury report, so you love to see that. Gigi Jackson back, so you add even more depth, and he might not even touch the floor in this game because they have so much scoring in Memphis. But Minnesota's defense is falling off a little bit last 5 games, and it's just not a good spot in my opinion. So like I said, 6 is a bit too much in my opinion, but I did take the 3.5. We talked about it on the show yesterday. I did take the 3.5 yesterday. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. We'll move over to next. Detroit +8, Gag says. Okay. Redemption says risky, but it could be a look. The way Memphis focused on him last game was concerning. his unders could be a look. Yeah, they did really focus on him a lot. That was the game that he flicked off the referee and got fined $50,000. And the crazy thing is, Memphis not that great of a defense. Well, I wouldn't say the defense is not good. They just play so fast that they're gonna give up points on the other side. I kind of worry about Minnesota being able to keep up if with no Dante DiVincenzo. Like Mike Conley's getting a little older now. Some of those young guys like a Rob Dillingham, which I really like Rob Dillingham a lot. I think he's going to be nice in the league. I worry about them guys being able to score the ball consistently enough to keep up with Memphis offense without Dante DiVincenzo. Now, Ellie says Grizzly on the money line. Mark put the 3.5 last night, and he took the over 233. So the total did come back down. Now it looks like, I guess it's, because it went up to what, 236, I think it was. Now it's back down. It looks like 234.5 is consensus, 235 over on FanDuel. I do like over. Looking at Minnesota defense, they really struggle. It's a fatigue spot. Memphis is only playing one way, and it's super fast, and they're scoring super efficiently. They just scored 140 against San Antonio without Ja Morant. So at the crib, MLK Day, sign me up for Memphis. I took a minus 3.5 with Mark. Let's see. No Rudy or Dante. Can't take the Wolves. So Rudy is not officially ruled out, but we'll see how it goes. Gilby Best got the over last night. He got a nice line too. I think he got 232.5. I think I saw in the Discord. Snowman says he likes Bane assists. Minnesota plus the 5.5 for Julio. So there's a way we could both cash. 77 Figure says Grizz on MLK Day minus 3.5. Let's catch. I like it. I like it a lot. DJ Prop says Grizz could try to feature Zach Edey if Gobert is out. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Let Edey eat, man. Let Edey eat. Markel, good morning, bro. He says I'm on Grizzlies first half. And good morning, my brother. Free Sauce says top of the morning, Chris in chat. Top of the morning, Chris. Let's get some cash. Corey took the Memphis minus 3.5. Little COV, but I'm scared. Don't cash out, Corey. Let it ride, bro. I'm right there with you, man. I hate getting COV. Sometimes it's the worst, man. But yeah, I'm gonna let it ride. Anthony Edwards for Dean likes his rebounds and assists to go over. Thinks he gets 10. September, I think this is a new name. Maybe it's not. September Johnson says, good morning, Chris. Grizz first quarter. Wolves always start slow. So real quick, let's see if they always start slow. Let's see how they have performed in the first quarter over the last few games. So on the full season, the Grizzlies are Minnesota is they're 20-19-3 against the spread in the first quarter. Memphis is the third best first quarter team behind Brooklyn and Houston. 25-14-3. If we look at the last 10 games, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 4-5-1 against the number. The Grizzlies have actually been starting off slow. They're 3-6-1 against the spread in the first quarter, last 10 games. If we look at home versus road stuff, though, last 10 at home for Memphis, they are 3-5-2. That's interesting. Memphis has started so slow at home. I know a couple of those games didn't have, they were like really, really depleted. Minnesota on the road are 6-3-1 against the spread in the first quarter, last 10 first quarter. So I do think I agree with what you're saying, but the number's not backing it up right now. Recent form, September. Hope you cash it though. Timberwolves catching points off a loss. Is that something? I think it is, especially when they're a dog. Like I said, Timberwolves shouldn't be. If you want the Timberwolves, you typically want them as a dog. I think about them the same way I think about the Pistons. Derek Lively officially ruled out. That's an over. That is an over, in my opinion. Appreciate you, Markel, for dropping this in the chat. I do see it on my phone now. That is definitely an over. I think I mentioned it, but let's go to the game real quick just because he just got ruled out. Did I skip it? Let's see. Oh, I know exactly what I did. All right, let's go back to that one real quick. I'm like, why didn't we talk about that game? All right, so now we can talk about it. We skipped over it. So 5.5. It's still 5.5. You can get a 6 on DraftKings. It looks like right now. I'm staring at the live eye screen. I'm expecting the total to go up. I see a 222 and a half over on. Let's see. Yeah, 222 and a half over on ESPN Bet would be the recommendations. I'm actually starting to like some overs, man. It's crazy to think. Dallas and Charlotte over 222 and a half. ESPN Bet. Okay, so I like both of the overs in the first two games. 221 and a half and 222 and a half, both one minus 115 and both over on ESPN Bet. So let's go back to that game because I said I was going to talk about it. Brandon Miller is out. Lively, of course, now is out. First matchup of the season. Dallas won both last year. They covered both spreads. I'm pretty sure they probably had Luka in both. You got Dallas. We talked about it coming off a win against OKC. But like jaXon was talking about, they've been struggling. They're only 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. For Charlotte, first game back home after a 3-game road trip. And I mentioned them being 3-0 to the over since LaMelo has returned. With LaMelo on the floor, Brandon Miller off the floor, they're getting outscored by about 5 points per 100 possessions, which is exactly where this total is now. I do see it moving, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little something on the over real quick because I see this up to 224 and a half on ESPN Bet. I do think it's an over game. So I'm going to log into ESPN Bet real quick to see if I can put this in, see if I can get this locked in. Yeah, it's already, no, it's not. It's 222 and a half. All right, so I like over here. So I'm going to play over, especially with the total moving. The total is moving. It's 224. So I want to get that point and a half of value. I see 224 in a couple books right now. And I think if I keep talking and don't play it, I'm going to miss out on the best line. So I'm going to go ahead and play Dallas and Charlotte right now. Up and over to 222 and a half is my thought process. And then I'll tell you guys why. All right. So one more thing real quick. I need to send it out. Let's see. Dallas and Charlotte over. Charlotte over 222 and a half, over 222 and a half, minus 115 on ESPN Bet for the people, for my members that's not watching the show. All right, so that's sent. All right, so getting back into it, when I was looking into it, I looked at Charlotte last 5 games. It's crazy because it's been so much different with LaMelo being back on the floor. I don't think he's been back for 4 or 5 games, but it's been about 4 or 5 games. So they're 8th in pace over the last 5 games. Charlotte's playing so much faster with LaMelo back. On the full season, they're 21st in pace. So that lets you know how much faster they've been playing. They're 16th in offensive rating over the last 5 games versus 28th in offensive rating over the full season. So that's the LaMelo effect. All against a slightly below average strength of schedule. They're 18th in strength of schedule the last 5 games. That makes me think over. You look at the Dallas Mavericks, they are 25th in offensive efficiency over the last 5 games, 7th in defensive efficiency. So they've been playing a little bit of defense, but with Derek Lively not there, that means a lot. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. So 25th in offense, 7th in defensive efficiency versus the 14th most difficult schedule, and they're playing at the 16th fastest pace. So about middle of the pack in pace. Defensively, they give up about 5 more points per 100 possessions with Derek Lively on off the floor. So maybe it really could just be a Charlotte team total over as well. But I played the full over. I think that they're going to be able to score. Charlotte defense takes a hit, in my opinion, without having LaMelo back on the floor, because LaMelo plays super fast. Like you're just going to score more points. The games are going to be higher pace with LaMelo on the floor. I mentioned Charlotte being 3-0 to the over with LaMelo back. So over is the play that I made. Charlotte is, what else I got in my notes? Dallas 9-11 against the spread on the road, just 3-4 as a road favorite. Their last 4 games on the road have all also gone over the total. And Charlotte is 10-8 against the spread as a home dog this season. So yeah, I'm thinking points are going to be scored, at least 223 of them in this spot here. I like over. Hopefully we can get some cash with the over. Hopefully Dallas can score against the Charlotte team as well. Don't like that Jaden Hardy isn't there, because he's had a couple games over his last 5 where he is had 20 plus points. I was looking through Jaden Hardy game log. He's been a scorer for them for sure. So I like over. I did play over. It's not the biggest play of the day, but I did bet over. Also don't like that Quentin Grimes is also ruled out. So Dallas going to be without some scores for sure today. And I think hopefully this one still goes up and over the total. But that's the way I'm liking this one. Let's go back to the comments real quick and see what you guys are thinking here. I appreciate everybody for letting me know that Lively was out. Grizz off a 4-game road trip. Wolves first half for Marquise. Lively out. Mark Williams is going to crash today. Yeah, he should have a big game against Gafford. He definitely should have a big game. Somebody put in the chat last night, PJ Washington. He is going back to play against the Charlotte Hornets, which is where he was at before they traded for him last season. So I can definitely see PJ Washington having a big game going back to Charlotte. Let's see. What else? So Timber says you needed a stat. I'm glad I could help. Flint says, I know we passed the game, but Hornets first quarter, he likes it. There we go. Jacob says, I got PJ Washington over 7.5 boards for 0.75 units at -125. That's golden. Without Lively, he should have to eat on the boards. He definitely should. GLB Bets says T-Wolves off a home loss are 1-8 against the spread. Whoa. Yeah, hopefully they go 1-9. Let's see. Chad says, I was stray from overs on early games. These teams are not acclimated to playing at noon on a Monday. That's what I was thinking as well, Chad. I'm typically a little bit of an under better for matinee start times, but this season we've seen overs happen, and I think it's because teams aren't playing as much defense. I was hesitant to pull the trigger on Detroit and Phoenix the other day, and they scored like 245 points, went well up and over the total. So I can understand what you're saying. Typically, I stay away from overs in early matinee games as well, but I think these ones can get up and over the total for sure, especially with them being so low. I think we'll start to see some defense, and my contrarian unders will come back maybe after the All-Star break. DJ Prop says 2 teams with no solid centers. I like the over as well. I expect a lot of threes in this game. Like it. LC's World says he took PJ Washington over his points and rebounds. He says PJ Washington over points or rebounds or threes. His return to Charlotte with Lively out. I like it. PJ not Gafford. What up, Fahrenheit? Appreciate you. Chad says take over after the first quarter. If you do, that first quarter could be awful if they don't wait. And I agree with that, Chad. If you don't like over right now, you might get like a 219, 218.5, depending on how many points you scored in the first quarter. I do agree with that. A lot. 222.5. Dylan was on ESPN bet. Squad ride on the over. Let's cash it, GLB Best. Let's cash it, bro. Let's see. What else should I think about this one? What up, Kent? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Let's see. More the line goes, more I like the Wolves, Brian says, and I agree. I do think it's getting a little disrespectful now, but maybe, like I said, maybe that's because Gobert is not going to play, and without Rudy Gobert and Dante, it could be a bad spot. All right, so we talked about these two, Hawks and Knicks. Still really nothing for me in this game. I think this is one where you kind of got to wait on the injury report. I like the Hawks, though. I do think you get a better number if Josh Hart and Karl-Anthony Towns gets ruled in. They currently both listed as questionable. Josh Hart got banged up in that last game. He did play through it. And Karl-Anthony Towns also missed the last 2 games for them. So he could potentially return in this game, and it looks like both of them are trending. I said last night on the show I was going to try to go through and find, do some deep diving to see if I feel like they were going to play or not. They both practiced yesterday, so they are trending towards playing. I do think, Tibbs being the coach, Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns that had a couple days rest. I think that they both come back here. I still like the Hawks, in my opinion. I think the Hawks is playing some really good basketball. You got double revenge for the Knicks. They do have, I think, the rest advantage, and they're coming off a loss. They've been kind of alternating wins and losses over their last few games. So not going to talk too deeply about this one given the injury report, but it's only Atlanta for me, and I think I would be looking more towards the under than the over. But again, I'm not playing a lot of unders right now. But yeah, Knicks got double in-season revenge here. Hawks actually knocked them out of the play-in tournament at Madison Square Garden. We know the history between Trae Young and the New York Knicks. So I just think the Hawks with Jalen Johnson in, they can keep it going. We cashed the plus 10.5 against the Celtics the other day. I think they can keep this game within 3 possessions as well. So it'd be Hawks here for me. But if Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart get ruled in, we get a better number. So that's the way I'm thinking about this one. Let's see what y'all think here. PJ Washington double for Derek. PJ Washington. Derek is the PJ Washington whisperer, just FYI. He always cashes with Derek, with PJ Washington. So cannot talk you off. Double plus, a little juicy plus 285. I like it. I like it a lot. Hawks are nothing for Chad, but not thrilled about it. Wait, like BJ said, I'm right there with you. Jalen Johnson over his rebounds and assists, 13.5 in Justin's pocket. I think Jacob sent this out last night at 12.5. I think line just a tad bit low for Jalen Johnson. It's probably maybe because it's only his second game back, so people haven't been betting on him recently. I think he had a pretty good game, like a decent game. I don't remember what his stat line was, but I know he played big minutes against the Boston Celtics the other day. So Hawks are coming off an overtime game. You don't like that as much, but I think they can keep this one competitive. Jacob says, check the Discord. Just drop his favorite prop. Farshad says, Hawks over full game, easy money. Okay. Trey gonna roll the dice on the logo again. They gonna be fired up for that, man. They are gonna be fired up for that. Corey says Hawks plus 6.5 parlay piece. Hopefully Dallas comes to play. Just need them to win outright. Okay. Trey assists with Jalen Johnson being back for Snowman. Mark says he's leaning Atlanta plus the points and under, but waiting on the manipulation report. Not even calling it the injury report no more. It's just a manipulation report. I like it. I like it. Clint says Hawks been balling. They have been balling. They've won 3 straight. I think is what I had in my notes. 3 straight covers for the Hawks as well. And 77 Figure says he'll take the Hawks minus 6.5 on MLK Day special. They typically show out on MLK Day, but like I said last night videos, they typically are at home for MLK Day as well. But yeah, I think they'll get up for this one. The Knicks will too. And that's why I like under as well. Especially if Karl-Anthony Towns is injured compromised by his hand injury. So we'll see how that goes. Top spot on the card for me today, man, is the Phoenix Suns. I played them last night. Sent this out, so I'm not going to do a deep dive into the game, but a couple people I know tell me, or like the Suns anyway, whether they were telling me or not. We took it plus 8. This open plus 8.5. I said it last night. I know the Cavs are super hard to fade. I get it, but I think that this is a tad bit too many points, man. The Suns are not that bad in my opinion, especially given the circumstances for this game. Not the greatest spot as far as travel. I think this is 4th of a 5th game road trip for the Phoenix Suns. But for the Cavs, it's first game back home as well. And they're going to be without Evan Mobley. I went in depth about Evan Mobley last night. They're a plus 12 with him on the floor, only a plus 6 with him off the plus 5.7 with him off the floor. Biggest difference is about 6 points per 100 possessions they're giving up with defensively. So the Suns should be able to score. I do like over in this game as well. I think both of these teams are going to be able to score. Suns playing with a little bit more pace recently. I hope Bradley Beal plays. I'm thinking that he's going to play. My gut tells me he's going to play. That doesn't really mean anything, but based on what I'm reading, I watched the videos of him at of him at practice yesterday. He was, getting to his pull up, step back, look good, going left, going right. It's an ankle injury, so as long as I think he's feeling well, he should play. You want him out there because you need the offense. We know Cleveland is one of the better offenses we've seen over the past few years, but I think, given Nick Richards, the Nick Richards effect is real. I'll just touch on that real quick. So when you add Nick Richards and you subtract, Evan Mobley, like I said, I think it's a tad bit too many points. So the Suns just beat Detroit in Detroit on Saturday, and Nick Richards was big in that game. It was the first time that he had played. He played 29.5 minutes. Scored 21 points, pulled down 11 boards. He shot 7 for 8 from the floor. He was a game high plus 22 when he was on the floor. I think that's exactly what the Suns needed. Like I've heard people talking about, it's the perfect pickup for the Phoenix Suns. And I couldn't agree with it more. I do think it's the perfect spot for the Phoenix Suns. They needed a big because Plumlee is not it. He's a decent backup. Nurkic has probably played his last game for Phoenix, and also is still pretty young in my opinion. So also it's a lot of on-court stuff. I'm not gonna go into all that, but just know that the Phoenix Suns scored a ball where the Cleveland Cavaliers have struggled to defend recently, both at the rim and in the mid-range. And the Cavs defense is kind of, taking a big step back. Last 5 games, third worst defensive rated team. So Nick Richards in, Evan Mobley out. We got this at 8. I think it was 8 points. I'll try my hand here, man. I've faded the Cavs and been successful a couple times this season. Most recently, I think last Saturday when they were laying points against the Pacers, and we were right in that spot. So hopefully we can fade the Cavs again successfully. I think it's a tad bit too many points here for a Suns team that is playing pretty good basketball. Also, Nick Richards double-double. I forgot where I saw that, but his double-double against Detroit was plus 1,000. He got the double-double, of course. Like I said, he finished with 21 points and 11 boards. His double-double today is all the way down to a plus 225. I think the best odds are over on ESPN Bet. If you build it out, I did try to build it out last night after the show. It actually wasn't better odds. So Nick Richards double-double, I think, is absolutely in play today as well, especially if he's going to play 30-plus minutes. We might not see this high again for a while. I think it was pretty telling that, Coach Mike Budenholzer had him out there, for 30 minutes in the first game. So, yeah, that's what I'm on for this game. I like the Suns. Like the Suns a lot. Let's see what you guys are thinking, if we have any thoughts on this one. Wally says Trae Young and MSG. He going crazy. He smashed Atlanta plus the 6.5. Jacob says Dyson Daniel treatment. Probably talking about Jalen Brunson. He is a really good defender. Like it 77 figures. What else y'all seen about this one? Do you still like the 7.5? Yeah, I do like the 7.5, guy. I think it could be a 2-possession game. I saw KD talking about the team last night. I don't think the Suns are going to win the game, but I do think I think it's going to be a possession or 2 type game. I would probably play this down to about 6.5. I saw 8, and I was like, hold on, let me go run to my computer real quick so I can actually handicap it. So yeah, I still do like the 7.5 for sure. Love this from my guy Jose, man. My vibe is so high because the Commanders are winning right now. I'm gonna probably have some kind of Washington something on every day until we lose. And man, y'all want us to win because y'all never seen me when one of my teams actually win in anything. It's been a while since the Lakers won, but it's been 33 years since the the Commanders have done anything. I was like 3 or 4. So yeah. Don't want to see that. Damani says already got some CLV with Mark Williams over his points and Jalen Johnson PRA. CLV makes me nervous. Nah, it's a fact. Makes me nervous as well. Done over his points for G Loco. Defense won't exist in the Cavs game. Give me the over. Justin says he's on the Suns plus 8. Nick Richards double plus money. Love it. Derek says he liked Donovan Mitchell over his boards, 4.5. I saw somebody else put this in the Discord last night as well. He said he's cleared in all 3 games without Mobley this year. He's averaging 7 rebounds in those 3 games. Against Chicago, Washington, and Minnesota, he's averaging 7 rebounds in those 3 games as well. Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. I can see Donovan Mitchell having to go down there and help out the bigs to get some boards. Mark says no Mobley definitely matters. Probably hit Denver. Phoenix plus the 7.5. Marquise likes the plus 8. Hopefully we can cash, man. Justin says ain't nobody scared to fade the Cavs. Chad says done fading the Cavs and OKC. Just can't do it. Okay. All right. Let's see what else. I don't know, Mitch. I don't know if Kyle. I'm about to do Kyle's show in about 15, 20 minutes. So we'll see if how Cal is looking at these NBA games today. We will see. JB Best says I didn't post it in the court, but while looking in New Orleans Pelicans game, but looking into the over, I saw Pels minus 10.5 could be a look as well. We're gonna talk about that game in just a second. Dirty Jerry says, who's watching Unravel? I don't think it's today, right? But I'm definitely on board. I love watching women's hoops, and this guy right here, right underneath you, Chad, made a bunch of money in the W last year. Vividly remember Chad cashing a bunch of tickets last year, going up a bunch of units. I know Chad probably locked in as well. But yeah, it's some Unravel. I got an Unravel channel in the Discord for people that are looking. DJ Pops says Devin Booker has been scoring lately, taking him for 28 tonight since the game should stay close. I can see that. We know the Cavs give it up to guards. You do give it up to guards. Chad says in double sprinkle for Richards. Yeah, I like it. I like that look a lot. Let's see. What else? KD over his points from Merrill. Also likes book. He likes the points and assists. Interested to know if you like this, Merrill, if Bradley Beal plays or not. Do you think it matters? Side dropping on the Mavs game, because the Mavs shouldn't be laying points. The Mavs shouldn't be laying that many points on the road. So I agree with that. I do agree with Charlotte. Charlotte's better as a home dog than Dallas is a road favorite. Dallas is 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. So yeah, I think Charlotte can keep it close. I just like over a little bit more than anything else. So I played total. But yeah, I do think if I had to play the spread, it would definitely be Charlotte. Definitely be Charlotte plus the points. That 222.5 is gone now too. It's up to 223.5. So we got a little CLV even while we're doing a live show. Garland over his 21.5 for Merrill. So we're gonna talk about this, Fresh. He asking about the Zion assist prop. I feel like Zion should have another double today, but let's get over to that game. Let's go over there real quick. So you know what? I didn't let's go back real quick. I made these graphics last night. I did not do what I was supposed to do though. So Boston and then Utah. So let's go Boston. This line actually has moved so much. There's no real need to talk about this game. If you go back and watch the show last night, I already put it in chapters, right? I talked about doing the show last night because I thought this line was going to move. And I didn't update the line here, but this is now 10.5. I talked about a lot of reasons why I like the Boston Celtics last night. And them lines are gone, man. Ultimately, what I ended up doing was I put a little bit on the +7 last night. I'm sorry, the -7. I'm not looking towards the Celtics today. Towards the Warriors today. But I put a little bit on the -7.5 because it had moved from 7. It opened at 5, and ultimately what I ended up doing was playing the team total under for the Golden State Warriors. It was 109.5 or 108.5. And that number's gone now. So this has moved in favor of Boston. This should be a nice bounce back spot for Boston here. This is a super big number. The books are anticipating the Celtics to blow out the Golden State Warriors in this spot. And I think it could look like that. You don't have Draymond Green, Steph is supposed to play, but looking at Boston off a loss, they've also they just lost to Atlanta the other day. Also first game on the West Coast, but they also lost to Golden State. So you got revenge and a loss. Golden State was getting, I think it was 7 points earlier this season in the Garden, and we were on Golden State in that spot. That's when they were playing a lot better. But now it's no Brzezinski, it's no Draymond Green, it's no Kuminga. Moody, if you're looking at points, if you're looking at props, I do think Moody is in a pretty good role today. He's going to play power forward for the Golden State Warriors. That's the one position that it seems like Boston always struggle with. So I'll be looking at Moody props right now if I had to play anything in this game. But yeah, we played the Golden State Warriors team total under 109.5. That number is gone. It's 107.5 now. And also played Boston first half full game, and we got a steal. Because when I was looking through it last night, I was like, how can I play Boston without laying the 7.5 to get, to give it out to the members? And on ESPN Bet, they had it at -130. But on DraftKings, it was -155. And on FanDuel, it was -160. And I don't like, that's way too much for me. So you just need Boston to be winning at the end of the first half, in the full game. We got a minus 130. I woke up this morning, it was minus 160. So yeah, couple different ways I like to play this game. I got a couple bets open. I need Boston today. Absolutely need them in this spot. That's that. Let's see. Anything else on this one? Curry is not out quite yet, Tasha. He is supposed to play. Chad likes Porzingis 6 first quarter points, says he scored 4 straight for me, going for 5. And that's the other thing, right? Is on the Boston side of things, Porzingis and Al Horford did not play in that game against Atlanta. That's how I knew they weren't going to take it serious, because those guys don't typically play on back-to-backs. But Boston is coming to Golden State with a clean injury report, and they really struggled in Golden State. I was looking at it. I think they've lost like the last 3 games in Golden State. So I'm expecting an all-in effort from the Boston Celtics in this spot. I think team total under is my favorite spot in the game. Boston is going to make it rain from 3 against the Warriors. Horrible defense. Yeah, I'm glad we got that last night, Mark. Glad we got that. Dirty Rig says he likes Porzingis to go over. Let's see. All right, so yeah, that's just real quick on that one. Gas says Wiggins under 19.5 points. Cavs. All right, I think we did a pretty good job here. Dean says Charlotte on the money line. Mir says Charlotte on the money line. I think they get right today. Okay. All right, so next game up, the one we just kind of talked about, is the Jazz and the Pelicans. Let me just double check and see what the line is now, because this might not be updated. And then we got one more game after this. So Jazz and Pelicans. Let me just let this refresh. So it's 11.5. Well, 11.5. And the total has gone down just a tad bit from 236.5 down to 232.5. I don't know if I agree with that. So on Friday when we did the show, and maybe it's because Zion probably won't play. On Friday, I said the over was the best player on the board. It was at 229. It was maybe the easiest win I've had all season. I think they scored like 250 points combined in that game. So yeah, I don't know. So you got injury report. It looks like primarily the same for the Jazz. They without Clarkson, without John Collins, without Lauri Markkanen, no Juzang, and Colin Sexton is out. Maybe that's why it's gone down, because Colin Sexton is out as well. He did play in the last game. I kind of feel like you needed scoring. That was one of the things I said on Friday, is you kind of want his scoring. So maybe. The Pelicans are playing really good basketball. They do have Zion listed as questionable in this game because of an illness. And then Misi is also listed as questionable. He didn't play in the game on Friday when these two teams just played. Forgot what the injury was, but he's listed as questionable. So if both of those guys get ruled in, DeJounte Murray also on the injury report, but I think he's more probable than game time decision. If those guys get ruled in, I think you potentially look at a Pelicans team total over. Like, I do kind of want to fade the Jazz in some way, shape, or form. I'm just looking at their starting lineup. It's a lot of pieces missing. I mean, they got Walker Kessler. They got Keontae George. Isaiah Collier's not a bad player. I do kind of like him. But This not cutting it for me if I'm Utah. The Pelicans have won, I think, like 3 or 4 games in a row. They've covered 3 or 4 spreads in a row. Utah, they have been covering, but they are 6-2 against the spread in their last 8. But you got to kind of like look at the team. So if everybody's in for the Pelicans, I think it's a Pelicans team total over. I worry about the Jazz being able to keep up without Colin Sexton. Keontae George, Isaiah Collier, and Kobe Williams and Walker Kessler, not enough in my opinion. Getting Walker Kessler back, I think he didn't play in the last game, should be helpful. But yeah, this Pelicans team starting to put it together. They've won 3 straight, 4 of their last 5. They've covered 5 in a row, and it's the 3rd straight home game with no travel. I know 11 is a lot to ask for the Pelicans, but they did just beat the Jazz in that last game, and they had Colin Sexton in that one. So not a game I feel too intrigued about. Zion, not sure, how healthy he is, what he got going on. So I'll probably stay off his assist today, but I couldn't talk anybody off. I do see a lot of people in the Discord on Collier. So what up, Coop? Hope all is well with you, bro. He says he likes Collier rebounds and assists. He says been a wagon. Mark says I did lay the 11 and the 11 with the Pels. Small play for him, but he likes the 11. Couldn't talk you off at all. I think it's a spot for them. Could be another good spot for them. I would want Zion in though, and I would kind of want somebody to match up with Walker Kessler from an effort perspective. Without Misi, I feel like Zion, probably plays a little bit of center. And Walker Kessler can go down there and disrupt things just a tad bit. So that scares me a little bit, but I still think if Zion is in, this is more of an over game, maybe a Pels team total over though. Let's see if we had any other comments here. Jacob says he played over 234.5. Of course, I had CLV. Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, it's probably not a game I'm gonna play though. Kimmy says Commanders gonna have a familiar opponent in Philly, divisional game for the right to the Super Bowl. I'm excited for a great game. Get your popcorn ready. I'm right there with you, man. Super excited for the game. Yeah, I'm super excited for the game as well. Tasha says it's 10.5 now. I see 11, Tasha, so I'm not seeing you. It probably is 10.5 out there somewhere. Scott says Collier minus 140 for over 7.5. Almost thinking about playing 10 assists at plus 210. Couldn't talk you off. He's gonna have primary ball handling duties. Him and Keontae George gonna have the rock in their hands a lot. Tasha says 10.5 on Bet Rivers. So yeah, Bet Rivers is cool. They limit me though. So yeah, I don't really like Bet Rivers that much, but it's cool. All right, last game on the board, Bulls and Clippers. So this line was at 6.5. The total, we talked about this yesterday, right? I think it was 235.5, and it started to drop to 232.5. Now it's all the way down to 227.5. So this total has moved a lot. Let's just update that real quick. 227.5 now. Total is, and the spread has come down to 6. A lot of the movement, in my opinion. So this was at 6.5 yesterday. And then Kawhi got ruled out, which we should have known that he wasn't going to play on the second leg of a back. Most people should know he's not going to play on the second leg of a back-to-back anyway. The spread went down, I think, to like 4. And then people were like, hold on. In my opinion, people were like, hold on. This is the Bulls here. And it got pushed back to 6. And it's pretty simple, man. I'm not looking towards the Bulls. I'm on a Bulls-free diet. I will continue to live my life this way. I feel lighter, a lot more healthier. I'm sleeping better at night. Bulls-free diet mixed with some great water and some exercise, and your life is pretty good, man. The Bulls are absolutely trash right now, and they probably will end up winning this game because I'm talking about them like this. But they've been god awful. Lost to Portland yesterday when Portland was on the second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. I think that was a 4th and 6th nights. Nobody is losing to Portland right now. Everybody is getting their rocks off against Portland. And the Bulls couldn't last night. They were without without Lonzo. He could potentially return today. Maybe he does play. He was ruled out yesterday. It was just for rest. So that could help him a little bit. In my opinion, Josh Giddey, I think, had a stat line of like 0-3 and 1 or something like that. You just you hate to see it for the Bulls, man. Kobe White is listed as game time decision. He did play last night. The Clippers are absolutely hooping right now. I'm just not looking to fade them, especially at the crib. I don't think that they overlook the Bulls. The Bulls don't play enough defense, in my opinion. When you let Portland score, and they're getting dominated on the glass. I think they're giving up so many second chance opportunities. I was listening to Zach LaVine talk about it post game last night. So maybe eventually they say, you know what, let's play a little bit better basketball. But the Bulls have been god awful last 5 games. So I'm not looking towards the Bulls in any capacity at all. Not looking towards the Bulls. There's only Clippers or nothing for me in this spot. Even on the second leg of a back-to-back, they actually didn't have to travel. The Bulls did have to travel. So from Portland, Chicago last 5 games are 18th in defensive efficiency, 23rd in efficiency overall, losing by about 8 points per 100 possessions. They are 6th in pace over the last 5 games. And let's see, Clippers at the crib, first in number. So at the crib, the Clippers are actually the second best team in the NBA. They're second in defensive efficiency, fourth in overall efficiency. So they're outscoring their opponents by about 9 points per game at the crib. Last 5 games, they're actually number 1 in defensive efficiency, number 2 in overall efficiency. They have played the 27th strongest strength of schedule, but the Bulls, as bad as they've been, they've played the second easiest schedule, 29th in strength of schedule over the last 5 games. So, yeah, I'm not looking towards the Bulls. It's still Clippers or nothing for me here, but I'm not betting Bulls games either. So hopefully that was helpful. Not touching the Bulls. Quick recap. Well, let me go through comments real quick. See if y'all see anything about this one. Oh, Bulls. Chicago team total under Patasha. What up, Tariq? He says at work, Commanders Eagles over. He likes the over 48. Clippers win. Clippers are wagging at the crib. Yes, Clippers are nothing. Bulls are trash. Let's see. Oh man. Some of us live in Chicago. Scott says, "Don't talk about them like that, man." Sometimes you just gotta, you gotta just call them for what they are, man. Jacob says he locked in the 6. I did see real quick. Last thing I say, Harden played like 40 plus minutes last night. He typically plays second leg of back-to-back. This is a game I would wait on the injury report, because if LaMelo gets ruled in, Clippers potentially rule somebody out. Maybe it goes the opposite way. You can get a 5.5 or something like that. But yeah, keep your money in your pocket if you're thinking about the Bulls, though. Jacob likes Zubac to get 15 plus points at -115. Couldn't talk you off. He should eat against Vooch tonight. Whoa, Jacob. Whoa. Don't be betting the Eagles, man. I'm messing with you. Justin says, I tell Clippers -5.5 when I got it. Okay, I like that. Trey says he's from Aurora, I think is how you pronounce that, Illinois, and I hate the Bulls. Worse than the Lakers and Nets. Yeah, a lot of Bulls hate in the chat, and I couldn't talk you guys off. Any of the Bulls hate in the chat. This is what I played, though. I played Phoenix plus the 8. I played Memphis minus the 3.5. I played Boston first half full game at -130. Golden State team total under 108.5. And then the only thing else that I added, I think I'm gonna add both of those totals, though, man. It's been a long time since I've had like 6 or 7 plays. I think I like the looks, honestly. So I did play Detroit and Houston over the no, not Detroit and Houston. My fault. I played Dallas and Charlotte. Yeah, Dallas and Charlotte over 222.5. That number's gone. Hopefully you guys got it if you're interested in betting that. And then I really want to pull the trigger. I'm interested to see what Cal says about this Detroit and Houston over 221.5. I'll see what Cal says about that one. I do lean towards Detroit catching the points as well. Maybe even the Detroit team total over. I think I did a pretty good job of talking that out at 108.5. I think it was, or 106.5, whatever that number was. So one of these two, I think I'll make an official play as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So five plays I have open right now. The Jalen Green up and over on his points prop, I think, is a very, very solid look. And then last but not least, I just think that this line is going to be disappearing here soon, and that's Nick Richards. I don't think his double is going to be plus anything very, very soon. Plus 225, I think, was the best odds for Nick Richards double. Don't go super crazy on it, but I do think these are the ways that you can get paid today, man. I do appreciate you guys for hearing me yap about basketball. Hopefully we can get some cash. We've been on a little run recently, but I don't talk about it. I just, keep it underneath the radar. Hopefully we can kind of keep it going. It was a very profitable week last week, though. All the resources that I use to handicap sports are all listed here. There's referral codes for everything in the description of the video, so you can save yourself some coin if you are interested in signing up. I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy MLK Day. I'm going to go get ready for Cal's show. And also shoot me an email if you want access to the Discord at ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's at gmail.com. The link to my email is also in the description of the video as well. So best of luck, man. I hope you guys cash your plays. Enjoy MLK Day. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I think we got like 6 games on the board for tomorrow as well. Catch you guys then. I'm out.